words of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Distinguished professors, distinguished scholars, colleague excellencies, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to ride on the protocols that has already been established. And again, a point of departure, I have not put up a PowerPoint presentation. Perhaps it will minimize the strain on your eyes and focus on the here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ambassador Albert Kendagor, as already introduced. Before joining the diplomatic corps, I am a professional military officer. I served in the Kenya Defense Forces for the last 42 years. And therefore, this is a good experience to me, and I feel greatly honored to be here. I came here in May last year, meaning I'm almost 1.5 years, and therefore I have been baptized with fire during the 6-day war, 12-day war, and so forth. It reminded me occasions when I served in Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, as a peacekeeper, and so this part of the enrichment of that profession. Allow me to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this session for bringing us together at this timely gathering on dry lands, deserts, and desertification. Your presence here today affirms a shared commitment and determination to ensure that academia and innovation occupy their rightful places at the center of the global sustainable development agenda. This session that is before us today shows the importance of academia and innovation in Kenya. And for us, it speaks directly to the heart of the national vision. Science and research and technology are not supplementary tools. They are the driving force that will secure the future of our dry lands. They will determine our success in confronting desertification. Academia and innovation are not peripheral. They are indeed the Kenya's competitive edge. Kenya's dry lands stretch across the region, supporting millions of households, anchoring livestock production, trade, and rural enterprise. Again, this attests to what the Ambassador Gurion talked about. Yet these same lands face shrinking water resources, degraded soils, and severe climatic pressures. This again amplifies what the professor talked about, water scarcity, artificial water scarcity, where we lack resources and the capacity to mobilize the resources. It is essential. Knowledge remains our most powerful tool for turning challenges into solutions. Across Kenya, universities and research centers are designing drought-tolerant crops, pioneering water-efficient irrigation systems, regenerating soils, and testing climate-smart agriculture models. Innovation in this case, therefore, translates to breakthroughs into practical solutions that farmers and communities can apply immediately. This is the hanging fruit, the low-hanging fruit. Kenya and Israel share deep and historical relations spanning decades. We share common challenges, common in terms of security, in terms of agriculture, and education and innovation and medicine, as already mentioned by Ambassador Gurion a while ago. This bridge of collaboration that has strengthened our capacity to confront dry land, challenges. Through Arafa International Center for Agriculture Training, hundreds of Kenyan students have gained hands-on experience in irrigation, dry land agriculture, greenhouse management, and water-efficient technologies. Returning home, they have established demonstration farms, guide farmer groups, and introduce water-saving innovation across the country. These efforts not only boost food security, but also create new livelihoods and transform local enterprises. Mashav, in particular, Israel's development cooperation program, has been a cornerstone of Kenya's capacity building efforts. Over the decades, thousands of Kenyan professionals have been trained in arid land agriculture, climate adaptation, and environmental restoration. Many now lead research centers, direct innovation hubs, and guide national policies on sustainable dry land development. Perhaps no story illustrates the impact of the knowledge exchange better than our dear late Professor Wangari Maathai, who in 1974 visited Israel under Mashav, witnessing trees flourish on rocky terrain through drip irrigation, and that inspired her to found Green Belt movement, which planted millions of trees and reshaped environmental stewardship across Africa. Academia, industry linkages, and joint university collaborations have ensured that global knowledge is tailored to Kenya's unique challenges. Partnership between Kenyan universities and Israeli institutions have facilitated faculty exchanges, applied research, and innovation projects. These initiatives produce practical solutions in ranch land restoration, climate smart agriculture, and sustainable water management, bringing international expertise with local realities. Knowledge exchange continues to be a defining feature of this partnership. Students and researchers returning from Israel bring new perspectives, innovative approaches, and spirit of creativity that strengthens Kenya's local capacity. These intellectual and cultural synergies foster curiosity, problem solving, and practical innovation qualities that are essential in transforming drylands into engines of growth, resilience, and opportunity. Let us be clear on this matter, that the results of these efforts are tangible and physical. We can speak about them, and they are measurable. Demonstration farms now showcase drip irrigation, protected cultivation, soil regeneration, and water circular water systems. Farmers, students, and researchers converge at these sites to learn and implement climate-smart solutions. Drylands are no longer seen as a burden. They are frontiers of productivity, innovation, and enterprise, and we have seen it being demonstrated here today. Ladies and gentlemen, the work we are doing is not just academic, it is practical, it creates jobs, it empowers communities, it builds resilience, and it ensures that Kenya can meet the challenges of the climate change, land degradation, and desertification with homegrown solutions. Solutions grounded in research, knowledge, and applied innovation. And therefore, again, we have seen it, we continue to see. There are those who have had firsthand to visit Kenya in Turkana and Marsabit, and therefore, these are real issues that we speak to. Looking ahead, Kenya will continue to champion the alignment of academia, innovation, and policy. When these pillars work in harmony, degraded lands recover, water systems become sustainable, communities thrive, and new opportunities emerge. Partnership with Mashav and ICAT and Israel universities remain very central and key to this mission. Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue building the future where science drives development, innovation empowers communities, and universities serve as engines of transformation for generations to come. Let us ensure that the work we do today does not end at this conference, but grows. Spreads and transforms Africa. The work starts here today, but its impact will shape Kenya and Africa for decades to come. God bless Israel, God bless Africa, and God bless Kenya. And that is the end of my small speech. If I have spare time, I am very full of traffic, and I donate the remaining time to whoever is coming after me.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Kendagor. Really wonderful, great words. I would like to share with you that the motivation for this session comes from a delegation that we had about 3 weeks ago. Some people sitting in this audience, and you will hear Itai later on. And in this delegation, we had the opportunity to work with one of your senators while you are there, and he's from the Marsabit County, the North Hall, and he was so inspiring. We got in love with the people, and it was really amazing to hear people talking about climate change on one hand, and the wish and desire to gain knowledge on the other hand. And it was so wonderful. So I really hope that in addition to all the other missions and experiences from Ben Gurion University and other universities, we'll also in the future, pretty soon, we'll have more people coming from Ben Gurion University, and hopefully this will expand to Ethiopia and other countries because we really want to be there. It's inspiring. So thank you very much again. And one of the things that we see all the time is the importance and the huge contribution of the NGOs all over the world and also from Israel. One of these, if not the leading NGO working in Africa is Innovation Africa, and I would like to invite Reut to come and share with us her experience and her knowledge about Innovation Africa, bridging safe drinking water to rural Africa. Now technology, innovation.
Hello everyone, very happy to be here. I'm actually did my master's and PhD in the Zuckerberg Institute for Water Research with Professor Amit Gross. And today I'm going to speak about my work in Innovation Africa. Fun fact, I got introduced to this organization, to this NGO, when I think 7 or 8 years ago, Sivan Yari, our CEO, came to give a talk on this conference, the DDD conference, and I kind of put it in the back of my head, and I said I want to work in this organization one day, and it's happened. So, short video before we start about what we are doing. It used to work before.
About 2.2 billion people living without access to safe water.
A desperate call in need of an urgent response.
Half of the continents have to leave their homes to access water.
Access to safe water is one of the most fundamental pillars for human health.
Africa is left behind and forgotten.
The main challenge in Africa is the lack of energy. Because there is no energy, people are still suffering. Because there is no electricity in medical centers, there is no electricity in schools. But most importantly, because there is no energy, there is no access to clean water. And yet, the sun exists, the water exists, and with only a few solar panels, we can make a change. Innovation Africa is a non-profit organization with a very simple mission: to bring Israeli technologies to African villages. Since 2008, we have brought solar energy to power schools, medical centers, and most importantly, to pump water in rural African villages. Once we bring clean water to a village, everything changes. Children are going to school, now there is better education, less people are sick. But what inspires us the most is when we get back to a village, we see agriculture, brick making, we see economic independence. energy is the key to break the cycle of poverty.
I'm the head of the water quality specialist, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about what we're doing mainly. Okay. So Innovation Africa is impacting, we're doing different projects. We have solar projects for schools and clinics, and we have water project, about 850 water projects in now mainly 6 African countries. Cameroon, South Africa, Zambia, Malawi, Tanzania, and Uganda, and we're impacting this year more, like we crossed the 6 million people that we're impacting. And these photos are of prospective villages that we are taking on ourselves to develop a water project. Like many people say here before me, mostly the women are the ones that are going to collect, fetch water, sometimes are going 3 hours or more in order to fetch water. The small young women are sometimes losing school because of that, because the need of going to fetch water. So these are photos that our team was taken. You can also see the bad water sources, obviously, no need to expand about that. About 411 million people in Africa are without access to clean water. And as Noam mentioned before, there are different numbers from different places, but over 1,000 children die every day because of waterborne diseases, mainly in sub-Saharan Africa. So the challenge, also as Noam showed before, is not always the water. The water exists. The energy is the challenge. There is lack of energy, and about 620 million people in sub-Saharan Africa live without electricity. So there is the lack of energy to pump the water out or to have different technologies to bring them. What we do in Innovation Africa is basically water solar pump systems. We use the sun to pump water over the time when there is sun. This is how a conventional water project looks. We have a tower, we have the pump room over here, where the pump is and the other component that you will soon see. We have the tank and the solar panel, usually on a tower, also to mitigate vandalism and other things. So this is why they're usually higher up and thefts, because these components are expensive, the solar panels, and some other people want. And we bring water to the communities. What are the steps that we're taking when we're doing a water project? We're usually having 6 steps to construct a solar water pumping system. We start with the drilling, or just before the drilling, we have a survey. We are understanding where are the best potential points in order to find water. And we're drilling up to 250 meters. We are not the one who are doing the drilling. We're working with constructors, outsourced constructors that we're paying to, and we have our own local teams that are working according to HQ guidelines and supervise these contractors, making sure that they're following all the guidelines. On this step also, this is where I'm getting in, we're taking if we find water, we're taking the water to the lab, we're doing analysis. If they're fit for human consumption in terms of physiochemical parameters, we're going ahead. If not, we are moving to the next point. And that's sometimes also a challenge. Finding water, but not good enough water, it's sometimes a challenge. We build the water tower, as we said, up to 10 meters. Before that, we're doing a design, designing all the geographical area of the village, and deciding where the water points are going to be, and finding the highest point in the village to have a gravitational yes, thank you. Then we install the water solar and the water pumps. Not a lot to say about that. Raising the usually 10,000 liter water tanks, sometimes more, depends on the community size. And the maybe most important part is, this is where the community is getting also involved, is to dig the trenches and the piping. We're not doing it by our constructor, we're not doing it by ourselves. The community has to be engaged in order to do it, around 4 kilometer radius, and the community is engaged to do that. And the last point is to have the taps. It's a communal tap. It's not that every house is going to have a tap. And about 10 to 15 water stations throughout the village, depends on the size of the village. Now you probably ask yourself how we sustain it, what is the community has to do with it, how we are not making it a white elephant. This project many projects in Africa, as Noah mentioned, are becoming a white elephant. So first of all, we are not the owner of the project. The community is the owner of the project. We are not getting involved if the community doesn't show us their will to start a project. We are not getting in before they are signing this MOU. Once they sign the MOU, we're getting in. And every community chooses 10 people to be their water committee. And we train them throughout also the construction stage. They are getting involved, how to operate the pump, how to overcome minor maintenance issues. They are also collecting money at the end of each month from the community and having their own bank account, depositing it over there. Some of it is going for minor maintenance issues that they are paying for themselves, and some of them is going to pay for the water committee. And so at the end of this, they're also getting a certificate. It's becoming like it's also encouraging them and empowering them. And I think another layer that is very important, that I feel that we are also empowering local teams, educated local members of each country. They're our engineers. They're the one who is doing the hardest work. They're going in the field. They're talking with the communities. And each one of them in the field of expertise, whether it's water quality, whether it's hydrology, whether it's civil engineer, water engineer, sorry. And they are in touch with the local community. And how do we sustain all this? How we can, like, it's a huge amount of projects, how we can manage it. So basically, first of all, each project also has its monitoring unit. When we tracking on real time the amount of electricity that's used and the amount of water that was consumed. And you can go to Innovation Africa website and see all of our villages and projects. You can see real time what's going on, what is the water consumption in each village. It's open source, you can do it by yourself, but this is an example. And maybe one of the things that I'm most proud of in our organization is that we're not leaving projects behind. We have a 10-year maintenance guarantee from our major donors. And whenever there is a major maintenance issue, we are coming back, fixing it. Maybe not immediately, because it sometimes takes time, but we are not neglecting our project. And with the monitoring unit, for example, we can recognize if a water wasn't pumped for more than 3 days, we have a notification popping up to our headquarters telling us this project hasn't pumped water for more than 3 days. The reason for 3 days is because sometimes we don't have sun. So we don't want also to have overswamped with notifications. applications. And that's one of the great things that we're doing, I think. We're also maintaining our project, we're not leaving them behind. And for us in HQ, how we're managing it also is that we have our own INOAP and our own database, and all the activities that are being done are, the team needs to fill up forms and to record and report everything that we're doing, so we can also look forward, understand the issues, and so on. I will not have time to speak about water quality today, but I do want to say we're doing great things, but it's with many, many challenges that's coming. Many, many, many challenges that we can start and discuss maybe on the break time. Our impacting is like we contribute towards 12 different SDGs. Yes, thank you. I think
Thank you, Reut, an amazing job, and I recommend you, if you have time, and please do it, look at the Innovation Africa website. They have a lot of information, and again, during the break time, you have an opportunity to talk to Reut, ask questions, and maybe be part of that. Mentioning that, so thank you, Reut. Since there is a closing ceremony and session at the end, I need to be on time, but again, no one goes anywhere, and Reut will be available, I'm sure, if you want to talk to her. Mentioning the website, again, I told you that the Cultivate, Tomer Malki, was supposed to come here, he got sick, so we're not going to hear him, and I'm not going to replace him, but Cultivate, again, it's a wonderful organization, wonderful website. I recommend you to look at and just get some more information about another organization. And from here, I would like to move on to Nadav Behar. And Nadav is from the Engineers Without Borders organization or group or whatever you want to call it, from Gurion University, but it's a very general, across university organization. They do wonderful things. And Nadav was part of a project in Lake Turkana, and he will be talking. Victoria, sorry, I just want to make sure that you follow me. That's why I made a mistake on purpose. And he will be talking about from fishing to farming, community-based water and agriculture pilots on Rusinga Island. So please, Nadav.
Thank you.
Okay, the stage is yours.
So, hello everyone, my name is Nadav Behar, and I'm the head of water team at Engineers Without Borders. And before we start, I want to thank Yaron for inviting us, and also thank for the university, and especially the School for Sustainability and Climate Change and the Faculty of Engineering for supporting us. So, let's dive in. So, Engineers Without Borders is an organization, a global organization with a lot of branches all over the world. We try via some appropriate technology to improve and increase the capacity of community individuals all over the world. And the organization is mainly consists out of students, but also some other professionals. And in Israel, there are several branches. And one of them is the branch is Ben-Gurion University, which I'm part of. Today, we're going to talk about its activity, and specifically our last delegation and our next delegation in Rusinga Island in Kenya. So first, we're going to dive into Rusinga and everything that we made in last May. I would like to talk briefly about our methodology and how we can see and how we think we should deal with this mission in Kenya and maybe some other sites. So firstly, it has to be efficient. We have to prove for ourselves firstly, and also to the community and to our partners in Kenya and in Israel that our methodology and our tools are efficient and safe. Then it has to be affordable. We are dealing with community, a lot of times with a limited amount of resources, financially and others, so we have to adapt it for them. And firstly, it has to be affordable and easy to implement. Easy to implement means also to maintain and then to establish it. And lastly, based on common materials. In Rusinga Island, in our former project, in others, there is very limited availability of materials and improved materials or expanded materials, so we have to build it from the materials that we can find in the area, in the markets, or in the ground around us. So let's talk now about Rusinga Island. So Rusinga Island is a small island in the western part of Kenya, just in the Lake Victoria, and it's a home for about 36,000 people in the island. The island is not that big, only 36 square kilometers. We suffer from a lot of issues. First, prevalence of diseases like HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, and other waterborne diseases. Then a widespread severe poverty. The people over there are based mainly on fishing, which is not really successful right now because the fishes in the fish population in the lake is quite small today. So we arrived there with our main partners, Bright Light Academy, which is a primary school, and the local agriculture officer that we're dealing with almost every week, 2 weeks, we meet with him via Zoom, and we have a very intensive work together. So these are two of the main local partners of us in the island. So now let's talk about the challenge in the city. So firstly, the water. So as you told us about the innovation Africa and the difficulty to consume fresh and safe water, the same situation is also in other places. Although Victoria Lake is a lake of fresh water, the water in it is quite polluted. It's polluted by industrial activity, by domestic activity, sewage, etc., and a lot of others. So the turbidity is about 11.5 NTU, which is more than twice than the bar of the World Health Organization for developing country, and about 40 times, almost 40 times than the bar of Israel. So it's quite dirt. And secondly, the bacterial load, which is huge. It's about 700 million CFU, means colony of E. coli and coliform in 100 milliliters of water. And the bar that allow and eligible by the World Health Organization and other organizations is only 0 CFU. It has to be clear at all from bacteria. So about 50 to 60% from the population of the island are drinking this water directly from the lake, means the health risk is quite heavy. Secondly, fishing. I mentioned it before, most of the population in the island is working at fishing. The fishes in the lake, the population is getting shrinker and shrinker in every season and year because of overfishing, because of pollution, because of climate change. And the result is that those people cannot fish anymore like they do in the past. And the salary and their income are getting shrinker and shrinker accordingly to the fish population in the lake. And for today, they don't have any other option, realistic option to work in except for this fishing. So it brings us to the last challenge that we recognize is agriculture. So it's very hard to make agriculture on the island, especially and specifically because of the water availability. So the rainy season getting shorter and also unpredictable. They're heavy from time to time, means it creates some floods. And for other seasons, they just not came, means there is a prolonged growth. And also they cannot predict it in order to know when to plant the growth and when to collect it. Then there is a lack of knowledge, means the people in the island are not familiar with the systems, with the required qualification for making successful groups. This is from one of the agriculture centers outside of the island. And lastly, there is some hippos that just eat the groups, the maize mainly, in the shores of the lake, and also some invasive snails, which also creates severe damage to the crops. So after we recognize these three challenges, we decide about two goals, two project vision for us. So firstly, regarding the water, achieving a significant improvement in quality of drinking water means to reduce the turbidity, reduce the bacterial load, and some other parameters of the water. And secondly, to change the dependence of the population from fishing to agriculture. It's more sustainable. It can maybe enable the fish population in the lake to increase. And we think for the long run, it's a more sustainable solution for the population. We not think we're gonna change it at all, but we think maybe we can improve some of the population, some of the households in the island, to grow more groups, and then to increase food security. So what we already did. So in last May, we visited Rusinga Island, and we made some pilots and made some experiments in order to create and assess the ability of us to improve this situation. And secondly, we meet a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, the chief, the agriculture center, the local school that we work with. So all of them, we create the cooperation in order to increase our chances to succeed in this project in the near future. So firstly, let's talk about the water situation and what we already made. So we create this filter, the white and the red one. This quite simple one is only a bucket with a sand and gravel, but we proved that it's quite an efficient tool in order to eliminate the bacteria and also to clear the water from turbidity. So in a very short period, we succeed to reduce about 99.7% of the bacterial load from the water. Although it's not enough, and it's very far from our goal to eliminate the all bacteria, it's a significant improvement, and we think if we have a lot more time to enlarge our experiments, so maybe we can achieve even better results. Then we reduce the turbidity in 80%. It means we meet the RAF in the bar, the bar of the World Health Organization. It's not like we want it to be like less than 0.3, but it's a big improvement. Now for our goals for the next delegation. For in February 2026, we are about to fly again to Rusinga Island and continue our project. It's continue all the time because we're in touch with the people in Rusinga, but we arrive there again in February 2026. So our first goals for the next delegation is to verify our experiment. As I mentioned, it's very important for us to make sure that these results are firstly effective and even more important, are safe. So we need to expand the pilot, we need to expand the experiment in order to be sure 100% that it is safe and efficient. Then we'll make a pilot with about 10 to 15 households in the island in order to get some feedback, some comment in order to improve our facilities. And then to prepare the ground for the next delegation, in which we'll try to adapt our tools, and maybe even to make some cost reduction, because we understand that the cost is a very sensitive issue for the people in Rusinga. And then lastly, to wide implementation. After we have all the proof that you need, and we know 100% that it's safe, and we got the commitment and the commitment of the population in Rusinga Island, then we can wide implement these tools. So after we talk about the water situation and the effort in these vectors, I'd like to talk now about the agriculture pillar. So in last May, we also assessed the situation in the area in Rusinga Island. We understand what is the pH of the ground, what is the potassium and other component in the ground, moisture, temperature, and any other parameter that we can achieve that is related and affect the success and the chances for success for agriculture effort in this island. Then we visit with about 8 or 10 households in order to understand what do they eat, what do they want to grow, what is their barrier, how can we help them. We understand deeply what is their need. Then we talk with some agriculture center in the area to understand what is the ability of the locals, of the partners of us from Kenya to collaborate and help and support those communities. So after we do collect all of this information, and also we create the connection and the partnership that we need with the local community, we prepare ourselves for the next delegation in 2026. Firstly, for the pilot field in Bright Light Academy, which is our main partner in the island. We think that through this pilot, we first can improve and increase the availability of food in the school, and then to make some better site and demonstrate to the population on the island what is the benefit and what is the opportunity of growing groups over it. And then to establishing a relationship with the local farmers. After we establish the relationship with the local centers of agriculture, the professional one, so now we want to expand it and also to connect with the farmers over there understand what do they do and how can we support them and how can we learn from them, how to expand it and how to make it more viable for a big portion of the population. And it brings us to the last goal for the next delegation, not the coming one, to expand our offer also to some others, okay? For another family and household. So it's very important for us to not stay with the information for ourselves, but to publish it and distribute it for many people as possible in order to make sure that if we have some finding or insights, we can share with others, so they will have it, and they communicate, and maybe they can give us some feedback and learn from us and learn with us. So this is our first slide. So I want to join, suggest every one of you to join us, if it's feedbacks, if it's collaboration, to learn together, to discuss, to make some brainstorming. For now, I'm here for a few days, so I met a lot of partners and friends that also deal with Kenya and also deal with the same problem like us, so I also got a lot of new ideas. But I'd like to encourage you all to join us, to collaborate with us. This is the barcode, you're welcome to screen it. This is our email. And I think together mainly with the collaboration of the local community in Rusinga, but also with the collaboration and partnership with our partners in Israel and around the world, we can actually succeed and we can actually improve the water condition, the water situation in Rusinga and also the agriculture. Thank you very much.
Amazing, Nadav. You hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. I have so many questions, I guess, other people to ask you, but if we have time, we'll ask questions collectively. And if not, of course, we'll meet you at a break, or we can talk to you and your partners. Nadav, by the way, works also at the Institute for Climate and Environmental Policy, led by the ex-Minister of Environmental Protection, Tamar Zandberg. So he's also involved in the Dead Sea Project and other things. It's really nice to see young people so involved in environmental issues. It's wonderful. And the last one for this session is Itai from COMMUNITAKE Technologies. And he will be talking about breaking new ground, building technology partnerships in Africa. And I can tell you that Itai was part of the delegation that I mentioned. There were 5 people from BGU, but 2 other ones that joined from the private sector. And he will be talking about his contribution now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Itai, and I'm with COMMUNITAKE Technologies. I actually wear multiple hats here, as Yaron mentioned, also joining this delegation, but I'm also a member of Rotary International, the high-tech branch in Tel Aviv, Israel. The only branch deals with technology. But I'm going to talk today about my experience in Africa, and actually I'm going to take you through my journey. It's actually a journey that exploring the potential of establishing a strategic technology partnership in Africa, which for me was the first time. So I want to talk before going into the details. I just want to share with you a little bit about what we do at COMMUNITAKE Technologies. We're a cybersecurity, a mobility cybersecurity organization, or I would say startup still, dealing with mobile management and mobile cybersecurity. We have multiple solutions. Our focus is primarily the government and the enterprise markets. And another line of business that we have is with securing healthcare with an IoT platform that we have developed for AT&T in the US and serving multiple large-scale mobile device companies in the world. So just a little bit about what we do, kind of like we have a security platform. This is the Intact Med, that's our secure healthcare. Medical device companies use our platform in the US, Europe, and other parts of the world. That's a contract that we actually won about 5 or 6 years ago with AT&T. That's our high-end security platform for government and enterprise organizations. We have both a cloud version and an on-prem version. You can see here our small on-prem version that we provide to the organizations. So, actually, why am I here? And how does that relate to Africa? So, it turns out that our lead manager at AT&T, great lady by the name of Cynthia, actually, she accepted the position, an executive position actually, being number 2 or number 3 at Safaricom. And Safaricom, to whoever is not familiar, is the largest telecom in Kenya. And sure enough, as we have a good relationship, when she accepted that position and arrived at Kenya exactly 3 years ago, the first thing she asked is, can you come over? I believe we have some nice projects to do together. So, kind of like I had a little bit of a debate with myself, kind of like what the heck we have to do in Kenya, Africa. We work in Africa, but through resellers. We've never been there. We don't have boots on the ground in Africa. So kind of like I said, okay, well, that could be an interesting experience. I accepted this offer and basically took almost the first flight out to Nairobi. So getting to Kenya, kind of like we said, okay, I didn't know what's going to happen. Is it going to be like a one-time gig? Coming over, seeing that there's nothing to do, going back, and thank you, it was great. So said, okay, if we get there, we better just do a safari, okay? So I actually asked my wife if she is interested in joining this trip. She's with me here. And she accepted this offer, surprisingly, okay? So that's the first thing we've done. We went to make sure that we experience the safari before we get a no from a business perspective. Actually, we had some interesting experience with the Maasai. Here we were accepted being part of the tribe. Everything is great. And then we arrive at Nairobi. Actually for me, that was really a surprising, fascinating experience because I've never thought of Nairobi being such an advanced technology hub. Okay, so looking at multiple, yes, we definitely deserve that. Okay, seeing the the Microsofts and all the technology aspects around the hub, and understanding that Nairobi is a technology hub for not only for East Africa, but also for the rest of Africa. So that was kind of like a really fascinating experience for me. And dealing with Safaricom actually made a lot of difference because of the culture, because of the people I met, and the opportunity to understand the local culture and the business realities in Africa as a whole, but represented by Kenya. So the challenges or the realities I've experienced is actually vast geography. I mean, kind of like it's, I don't know, whatever, 20 times Israel, whatever. Okay, I don't know even what's the multiplier. Infrastructure challenges, we've all heard that through a different angle. But talking about infrastructure, whether it is roads, water, sewage, stuff like that, and the cultural diversity. That kind of like an experience for me, seeing that we're looking at, for me actually working so many years in the high-tech industry around the world, in the Western world, for me it was an eye-opening experience. So, understanding the needs of the community, I mean, we're not detached from the realities, from the communities. So I was really surprised to see that 80% or more are actually unbanked, okay? I didn't even know what unbanked meant, okay? So for those of you who still don't know what that is like people that have no chance of getting a bank account, okay? So this is, I mean, this was really amazing fact for me. Agriculture focus, we've heard that throughout the day. So actually farmers are the backbone of the industry, of the economy. And something really interesting is the whole topic of micropayments and mobile payments. So when we came, and we weren't sure there's going to be value for what we have to offer, then it was pretty evident for me that we're not going to sell security, kind of like where we say do that in the US or Europe. It needs to be different, okay? And what we've actually realized is that Kenya is so advanced, on the other hand, so advanced with respect to mobile payments. And, I was really shocked to see how advanced is the M-Pesa platform. And that's been developed by Safaricom. So I was sitting with the architect of the system, and I was kind of like, after 3 hours, I was kind of like blown with what this platform can do on feature phones. Okay. On feature phones, you can run your life on feature phones, something I didn't even think is possible. So, really, we've made progress with Safaricom, and Safaricom actually has decided to own our mobility platform and brand that as a Safaricom mobile device management platform. So now it's being actually private labeled by Safaricom, and we provide an enterprise security and management platform for the organizations there. We're still growing, okay? Turns out that if I thought that that's going to be my last visit, it's been with the delegation, and I stayed longer, it's been the 10th time I've been in Kenya in the last 3 years. So, and still counting, obviously. So, I'm just sharing with you a couple of lessons I've learned. I think that's relevant for everyone who plans on doing business and staying flourishing in Africa, and specifically in Kenya. So, if we were thinking that technology is behind, well, not really, not in every aspect, okay? They've actually leapfrogged 50 years. The Western world was busy putting physical wires for communications, they did not bother doing that. Okay? They moved straight to mobile. So that's kind of like very interesting. Also, if we were thinking that we are coming to teach, no, that's not the way things are done. We have to listen first, and we have to co-create with the local teams. We've heard that again and again throughout the day. And we need to be patient, okay? It takes time. Things take time, and I became cognizant to that. About openness to foreign technology, that's another thing that I was really very surprised. People are organizations, and the people are very open to adopt and learn from other countries and other technologies. Most surprisingly, the openness and the welcoming of Israeli technology. I mean, it's been, I didn't even know that, but on the flights from Addis, from Tel Aviv to Nairobi, every time I see colleagues from the industry traveling back and forth over there. So there's tons of high tech in Kenya specifically, and the rest of Africa. So that was a really interesting thing for me to know. Also, it's all about people at the end. Everywhere in the world we say you do business with people. That's especially relevant to Africa and Kenya, okay? You actually need to show up. Zoom, Teams, they don't work, okay? It's kind of like an extra. If I run most of my business in the US over Teams or Zoom, it's not the case. It's not the case there. You have to show up multiple times, not once. And context. Context is really king there. If we think that a solution works in the US or Europe, is going to be cut and paste and done in Kenya and Africa, you're wrong, okay? It doesn't work this way, and I think that's applicable to anything that we do. Whatever Reut was mentioning here, with water, with anything that we do, it needs to be contextualized, it has to be localized in order for this to be sustainable, to be supported, serviced locally. So kind of like it's something that we need to take care of. Also pricing. I mean, kind of like we're in the service with the IT licensing of software. I mean, the pricing we're getting in the US is nothing close to what we could get in Kenya. So we had some adjustment to do, which was a great experience for me. So with that done, I could talk hours here, but Yaron gave me only 15 minutes. Hopefully, I was on time. So thank you everyone, and I'm around here, so feel free to ask questions. You can actually scan this QR code. Yaron has my contacts, Shimon has my contact, and I'm here actually after being with the delegation. It's probably going to be a lifetime experience for me, because I'm going to continue actually on my other hat with Rotary International and with the connectivity to the Israeli high-tech industry. I will support you and everything in whatever endeavors you're going to end up doing in Kenya and in Africa. So thank you so much for inviting me here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Itai. Actually, more than that, it was, in addition to that very impressive presentation, it was a wonderful summary at the end. So we haven't planned it like that, but we got it actually wrapped up. I just would like to add another aspect to all these lessons that we learned, is that we came as an academic delegation to Kenya, and people come from here from courses and teach and so on. But Itai actually showed us very, very clearly that also combining people from different sectors, like the private sector. Itai is the Vice President of COMMUNITAKE Technologies, really enrich the entire delegation, not only bringing another information, different information, but also look at the entire issue from different perspectives, from different angles. And the more you do that, the more you actually enjoy the benefits of these issues. Now we have a few minutes. So first of all, thank you very much for all the presenters. And we have time for a few questions. So people, if you have any question to one of the presenters, including the previous session, that's the time. Go ahead and raise your hand. If not, I have a question. Okay. If someone comes, and this is to Nadav, and to Reut, and also to Noam and Osnat, what is the limiting factor? Of course, you'll say money, I know, but what is the limiting factor in each of your part? In other words, if, except of money, what's limiting each of your projects to be 10 times than it is now? Let's start actually with Reut. Innovation Africa. Let's say that someone tell you, you know, you do a wonderful job, increase it multiple times. What do we need? What do you need?
So, I would say, let me talk about my discipline, water quality. We have a project with issues of nitrate, issue of fluoride. Treatment technologies are out there. But as we discussed, we have a limitation of energy, and we're looking for low maintenance technologies.
So what do you need? If someone tells you, you know, I have the money, tell me now what's the list of supplies that you need? Thank you. I need a microphone.
The list of supplies that we need, you know, always when you say the limitation is money, it's actually true, you know, and when we have the money, we can expand to different resources, but also the limitation of technical knowledge in rural Africa. If I want to treat now nitrate, let's say with the most advanced technology, I'm not necessarily, and it's out there in rural Africa, I don't necessarily have the people who can actually operate it.
So the local experts, people that are taking responsibility, that's what you are having?
For example, we are having, when I'm saying challenges, we are talking about 850 water projects. Each community is different. Each community is its own world. Getting into sensitizations of communities when we are introducing new technologies. We are starting introducing inline chlorinations. That's obviously it's a technology. It's not even a technology. It's a practice that is it's all over the world. But you know, changing the taste of the water that they are used to, or even the smell, is something that now we need to explain why we're doing it, even though it's much safer to drink water that are chlorinated. Each community, it's a different story in terms of how we are approaching them.
So I'll go to Nadav now. Let's say that, you know, someone comes and tell you, you know, this is wonderful, it's very, very low tech. You need sand, you need particles. Now we want to have 100 projects like that, and we want to spread so everyone will use it. It's a question of health.
Yes.
What limits you to do it? Why you don't do 100 more projects like that?
So I think our main advantage is that we are not need any sophisticated or complex infrastructure in order to initiate our project. We just need small, simple stuff and not that expensive. So I think the most available, the most important resources for us is the people on the ground with the motivation that will be welcome to work with us, and also will be trusted by the population, the community out there. So if we can find those people in community, a lot of other community, and we can be in touch with them and teach them how to use it and learn from them, how can we adapt it to their specific condition, the specific need in their community. So I think this is the most important and valuable resources for us. People on the ground that was well established and well respected by the community, and with real motivation and willing to work with us and learn together how to improve the water, agriculture, everything else in the community around.
Okay. Ram, what is your answer? You know, if the president of the university tells you, no, we want to see 100 more courses like that in Africa and want to do it together with everyone, what limits you?
I will send him to Africa. But basically, I think that the limiting factor, in addition to money, is time. I think it's true for you as well. You need to make your degree, and if you need to do 100 projects...
No, he's young. He has a lot of time.
To quit your degree, and I think that this is the same for most of the people. If you're an NGO, you hire more people. I mean, and like, I think that when I met Sivan first, she had like 3 employees. How many there are now in Innovation Africa?
There are more than 100 in Africa, and in Israel there are more than 20.
Yeah, so that's different. I think time is the limiting factor.
Okay, give me 2 more minutes.
I'm getting yoga. Like I said, time is the limiting factor. Yeah,
okay. But there are representatives from African countries, the most important guys. Can you advise us what we need to do? Can you help us, please? Because we're together. We want to be together. One community,
and how can advise and at the same time a question. What you're doing in Africa is amazing, but I also think there are people in Africa with the same understanding. You're going to Rusinga, you're picking the locals. Maybe they don't have the understanding. You can find someone that maybe has graduated or done something similar. The same with Innovation Africa. So the main idea is like they need to find people from Africa with the same understanding with them, so that they can try to link and understand. Not try to find the rural people or the community people. That is going to take them a lot of time to also try and teach them what they need to do and what not to do. So maybe try to find people with the same.
So I would like really to thank Professor Yaron, and you could also say